So on the Storm versus Tiny, this lane should be fairly even. You do expect maybe the Storm starts to play around by level 3 with a 1-1-1 build. Double Overload hits with the Electric Vortex can be nice. And you can always use the Static Rim to apply some harassment off. Although with the Tiny, with the tree grab, you can kind of sit back far enough to just CS safely as well.
Certainly so. Of course, BZM, the Storm is a bit of a specialty of the man. Dark Mago, of course, going back to Tiny as well. Last game around, not quite working out, but we'll see if he can put on a bit more of a performance here in game number 2. Of course, top lane as well. We'll have a look at bot lane, Jonathan. Of course, you've got Sacred now on the off lane. Kunkka, no more Timbersaw for himself. He'll be against Yuragi on that position 1 TA. Another specialty of this map.
Yeah, and this back and forth is something we've seen on mid before. This is something the Kunkka can handle, and you at least have access to camps here to kind of farm up if you find a space. You can get pretty aggressive. We're seeing Chu already chasing down on Matthew. Level 1, not the strongest point for these two heroes. Level 2, level 3 is maybe where you start to play with a Cookie and Scatterblast on top with the X and maybe the Torrent up. And again, when it comes down to Kunkka versus TA, if you can land that X Torrent combo, you can melt through the early refractions here and kind of handle that durability on TA.
Absolutely. How is that top lane? And never mind. There we go. Amar, Tiger, they're going to be on the Razor IO combination. It gets Pandamu and Pakazs. The panel kind of already mentioned it. Oh, never mind. Chu, bot lane, in trouble. The chase is on. Sacred, can he get it? Yes, he can. First blood this time around to go the way of Thunder Awaken as they do end up finding the clockwork. Yuragi unable to find a trade for himself.
And that's a bit surprising. I don't think they hit level 2 just yet on Matthew when that kill came out. So maybe just a bit too far forward. You've got to respect the output of the Kunkka if he does land that Torrent. And we did see Chu being really aggressive early on, so he's already traded a little bit there. And that does give a little play here for Thunder Awaken. Although he's just running up again.
Bonked out, not catching anyone. A little bit unfortunate there, Chu. A bit more damage there onto Sacred or Matthew. Meanwhile, bottom lane, or rather top, Pakazs dropping very, very low, but will be just fine. We'll go for the Strength Morph and walk his way out. Tangos will be handed over by Pandamu. All the action's probably going to happen down at the spot lane as do have a very aggressive set of duos here between these two. Chu, again, going to move in with the Battery Assault. Yuragi will back him up. Chu, he's got the Cogs off, but the Cookie is going to be there from Matthew, and that's always going to be the annoying thing for Chu during this laning stage. Chances are you can't really lock anyone in the Cogs.
They're going to be able to go out, or even if you say catch the Snapfire and she doesn't get the Cookie off, you're at threat of the Torrent and some good damage coming out from the side of TA as well. Rather strong start for OG otherwise, you know, top CS on the board right now, all from the Gradient side, with a little bit more back and forth with Dark Mago and BZM, or having a pretty decent time in the Tiny. So that build-up is still there for Dark Mago. I'm keen to see if OG will want to rotate mid at some point. Clockwork for Chu can at least maybe make some plays. The IO, you always like having that little regen on the Storm, and that spell amplification coming out as well on the Overcharge can make it easier to find some burst kills.
Certainly can. CS board already, all 3 cores of OG having an extremely good time. All at the top, already so far ahead. 1k net world lead for OG, but these laning starts are very strong. There's now Sacred once again. Going to be jumped here. There will be a Cogs out, forcing the Cookie again from Matthew. Couple Mango to make sure that they do end up getting that Cogs off. It just won't matter. Sacred's still going to be just fine. But if you are Chu, you're more than happy seeing Yuragi have the freest lane of his life.
It's a ton of farm. There's not much Sacred can really do to stop it.
And slower. Oh, he's in trouble. The slow is there. The link is out. Pandamu going to try to run, but Amar able to secure the kill, no problem. Kars obviously unable to help out on the Morphling.
It's just way tougher for the AA to play that lane. You're not really active. They try to catch out.
Cookie up. Just fine. Just chipping away at the HP pool of Matthew that time around. One thing to just kind of burn through the regen. This bottom lane of Thunder Awaken. G, more than happy if Yuragi keeps that farm going. Tiger, interesting position on the IO. He's going to find a courier. There you go.
You love to see that kind of play. Just pop the overcharge, get the attack speed bonus, and find
mid lane. BZM getting low, going to try and fight back Dark Mago. Now he's the one in danger. BZM, what a Giga Chat fighting back, but not quite enough. Dark Mago now looking to turn back around. Both mid laners dropping very, very low, but both will barely survive in the end.
it's a little bit painful. You are forced to walk all the way back here on BZM, so you've got a pretty free lane for Dark Mago to start to build up in that EXP. Maybe hit level 6 a little bit faster, some more burst damage as well. No bottle top up for him, and the rune respawn is still a bit away, so maybe with a fully filled up bottle and full HP and mana, BZM might be able to do some.
Perhaps. Jumped in, perhaps. No, not quite. Dark Mago. I mean, he's got the backup of Matthew, so BZM not wanting to get baited for that tiny kill. You're just kind of staying out of vision, hoping that Dark Mago gets jumped here by BZM.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Trying to move
attack.
within range, but not take the bait. You're wasting a little bit of time hanging around in this mid lane. They are really trying to secure Storm pick-off here, but it's just not happening. Instead, though, you can go for those power runes 6 minutes in. BZM now, he may get caught as there's a double damage, but no, they've got True there. He will be protected. Double damage to go the way of BZM is now Pakazs in trouble, but ATF won't be able to go too far. Still mid lane, Dark Mago gets zipped on. You've got the IO there to help out. BZM, can he keep going? He'll zip onto Pandamu. It's not going to be enough though. In fact, 2 now. He's the one in danger. Zip back in, however. They'll find the AA. They've got the damage. Pandamu will drop. They won't quite find they won't quite find the tiny, but what does it matter, John? Any kill's a good kill right now for BZM.
Kind of goes back to that decision made by Dark Mago when BZM went back home, and they spot out the stacks here as well. They are clearing it under vision, but there's not much contest TA can do. And they're just building up massively on the side of OG. And you've already got a free lane for Yuragi. You managed to get this catch up on BZM. And you're managing to leave Amar alone up top while still having a good dent on Pakazs' farm. Everything's lining up for OG. TA, this is a team that we know loves to get aggressive, but they drafted Morphling in. They're going to need to hit some leveled spikes and some key heroes. Level 6 out on Sacred would be big. Maybe once you have that boat up along with, say, the Ice Blast from Pandamu, that's when things can line up your way.
Just risky from Sacred. He's going to try. Torrent is not going to connect, however, and now Chu's here. Cookie is out. Sacred trying to run. Slow is there on Chu to make sure he can't catch up with the trap. Slow is going to be there. Sacred's not making it out. Yuragi able to secure the kill, and tips are immediate. The attempt from Sacred, a little bit too risky for his liking.
He's been playing that lane solo for the most part now for a fairly long time, and there's really just not much he can do to stop Yuragi. His farm scaling up, True, every time he walks up without the snapfire round when they're helping out mid, you're a bit of a sitting duck. OG again just finding a much stronger start here in game number 2, finding the stacks, getting the build-up they want. It's pretty scary for this kind of lineup to go fast.
Power runes again, cogs are there, BZM will make the jump in, but power rune, well, it's going to be top side. Instead, Matthew, he will get jumped. Here comes Yuragi, a nice cookie Chu, he will drop. Dark Mago, going to be just fine. So Chu, he will sacrifice his life. Power rune does go the way of TA anyways. It was up at top lane, and I believe it was the AA who took a regen.
Under attack.
Really winning out in terms of that. Pandamu, or rather Pandamu,
Radiant's
top lane, ATF. Onto Pakazs, it's a lot of damage into that Morphling. Pakazs!
Oh my goodness.
Oh, he had the waveform, but doesn't end up using it. Maybe thinking he could fight back. Tips out to ATF. Onto Sacred they go, bot lane Sacred. He's got no help around. Uh-oh, Sacred, he's going to try to run Dark Mago. He'll make the rotation in, but there's too much damage. The Kuka eventually will drop. Dark Mago comes in to try and help out, but John just doesn't have enough to really get anything done.
OG again just working the map so well. That solo kill for Amar to find. That's very bad news for Thunder Awakening. They need as much as possible onto Pakazs. This is a hero that wants to kind of be a hyper carry, and their jungle is just constantly invaded. OG again moving up with BZM, clearing out the stacks, clearing out the jungle. It's always under vision as well. TA knows this is happening, but they can't stop it.
Very, very rude here from OG, John, entering someone else's house, taking all their food and offering no gifts. Very rude indeed. BZM, he'll just take everything from the side of TA. Look at the amount of farm he's been able to get out of this. 600 gold just from the Dire jungle alone. No stacking necessary from OG.
Just let TA do all the work for them. They've got the opportunity now to show up top, get a little bit of a shove. No one around from TA to really defend. Power just falls freely. So now they can fully invade the top jungle, keep buying space out for Yuragi to get bigger and bigger on that TA. The net worth lead already 5k at 10 minutes here, Mike. It's massive.
That's rough.
TA, again, this is a team that's known for playing fast. This is a very slow-paced game for them.
Absolutely. give this much farm to a TA this early on before she's even hit the jungle. You know, once you really get that jungle going, you start to get out of control here on the side of OG. Yuragi already very close to that Desolator being up, and that's going to be a huge problem for Thunder Awaken. What can TA do here, though? I mean, what can Thunder Awaken do to try and maybe even out the game a little bit, Jump?
I think you're going to want level 6 on your supports here. You'd want the Kisses and the Ice Blast up. They are trying to give some EXP out to those supports. Pandamuch is playing down mid. And you've got Magikan just soaking up top lane. Maybe once you get one of them at 6, you can start playing around with the X-Boat, with the Avalanche Toss. Blink timing for Dark Matter is going to be pretty big as well, but that's still about 1,000 gold away. So a lot of time you have to wait. At the least with support 6s, you might get something done.
Fine, 3, but again, the network, a real problem here for Thunder Awaken. They've almost got the blink up on Dark Mago, though, and that might kind of be the time to try and move in and punish OG for all of this. You'll see OG even now stacking up their own tribal, preparing it for Yuragi. Thunder Awaken, they have smoked up. Mago, no blink up yet, but trying to make use without it. And Damu will be right behind him. Because Ice Blast is now available. They'll head up top, try and go after ATF on that Razor. Mago should be able to close the gap here with the Avalanche. Will be there. It's no bad. The Ice Blast does connect. Do they have the damage? ATF will go for a run. In comes the backup. OG, they will take down the Razor, but they will punish the side of Thunder Awaken for even trying. Dark Mago, he's going to drop a nice Avalanche, but he's surely... Oh, he's not gone. Chu gets it done anyway. Nice relocate out. Pakazs will be able to find the clockwork. A 2-for-2 trade in the end. Who does that actually favor those jumps?
I think you're pretty happy with that on Thunder Awakening here. Slow down Amar, slowing down that Razor's BKB timing is pretty key, and you're getting that build up to recover on Pakazs. It's a big sacrifice, losing your Tiny though. I'm sure OG doesn't feel too bad about that, and it's still a long way to go for TA, so this does give OG a little bit more of a bump. They get a good use for relocate very early on, and that is something that TA has to watch out for. Like you mentioned this earlier on, but Kunkka into the IO is pretty damn good. You didn't have Sacred around to X-mark someone back, isolate them, find that kill. You're going to need to start working as a unit here on TA to really find all these opportunities.
Well, there's the Desolator up now, John. You've even got an Arcane Rune bottled up here for BZM, so chances are they might go for another fight attempt very, very soon.
Middle tower is under attack.
Stacks first, BZM, he'll be the one to take the Ancients here, along with Tiger. Because Yuragi doesn't really need the farm, he took all the stacks away from Thunder Awaken. BZM will happily take all this gold his way. And that is going to be a very early Orchid out for the Storm as well. That's going to be very problematic for this Morphling.
Oh yeah, you're nowhere near close to your items here to kind of save yourself for Pakazs. The Manta's still a ways off. They are smoking up in TA.
This is available on Matthew. Near damage, Tiger, he will break the smoke. Did they not see him? Sacred, he heads up top. He wants the bigger target. He wants ATF, but they cannot catch him. ATF just fine. OG completely avoiding the smoke attempt, and now they can maybe just counter smoke. They know exactly where Thunder Awaken are at the moment. OG still sticking around. Thunder Awaken, absolutely nothing for their trouble. Very least Dark Mago is just about to pick up the blink. So you are going to have a bit of initiation here from the side of Thunder Awaken.
Their combination is effective. We've seen an Avalanche toss out with the Ice Blast. Just melts a hero down. But again, that's you throwing your combo onto one hero. When the relocate comes in, you're going to have more on top of you. And that makes things a lot tougher.
Kisses are there. They'll try to secure Chu with the Ice Blast to fly in as well. And that should be enough damage. Chu, he thought about the hook shot but won't bother trying. He does get taken down. Support pick off here for Thunder Awaken. But again, right now, any kill's a good kill here for this dire side.
You're still pretty happy with just finding something, getting your spells on cooldown, and making some action.
Jump in. Dark Mago, very nice kill, finds Tiger, but it's not worth it if it costs its own life. His team is going to be there to back him up, but do they actually have enough? Dark Mago, he just fell onto Matthew, they want another. And this Snapfire is not going to last very long. They might decide the tier 1 tower. Matthew's gone. Can they keep going for more? There goes your tier 1. He just gets ripped to shreds by Yuragi. BZM on a triple. Chu, he'll hook shot. Bit of an illusion there from BZM getting in the way. Maybe have to report the Storm Spirit later on, John, but for now a great team fight for OG.
Yeah, it works out in their favor. It looked like a good blink angle coming out from Dark Mago, and you talked about that timing. It's their big play. It's their big moment to find more. And they do find one, but they didn't have Ice Blast up. They committed a lot for that kill on Chu earlier on. So when it came down to this fight, they had nothing.
Played another annihilation here from OG. Jump under Awaken, still just not finding their footing in this game number 2. Unable to find the opening they're looking for.
Radiant's middle tower
Still
is
around that
under
guy,
attack.
jungle, maybe looking to move in once again. Sacred is around the corner. They've got the vision with that observer ward. They know exactly where he is. Choose not to go for it for now. Just setting up that Roshan pit instead. We've got a blink also up on Yuragi, so more initiation from OG. He's on the courier though, on its way. Hang around that die jungle instead. TM. Hoping Sacred does run up for the creep wave, and will do so, but does have the X back. Yeah, come along and say hello. Not going to get any damage on. Meanwhile, mid lane, a fight may break out very soon. BZM, he's right in. He's found the tiny once again. A nice ice plus, but it won't matter. Choose there with the hook shot. Pandem is caught out. Dark Mago's gone. We'll find another successful team fight for OG.
Yeah, we are. You find a couple of crits for TA earlier on, but now they're with that blue time up on Yuragi, they just run all over the map. They've got so much mobility with all 3 heroes, plus the Io on top, plus the hookshot threat from Chu. And now they just go Roche. They got the Dezo on Yuragi. It doesn't take too long to melt through Roshan. And TA are in no position to contest. No ice blast, they have kisses, but it's a tough fight to take. So hard against that goal.
Real assignments here for OG, just getting every time they could really ask for. Under Awaken, just not knowing how to react to this right now. And well, now there's an Aegis up on BZM, so you've got to try and deal with the Storm Spirit twice in the middle of the team fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Not
under
going to be
attack.
easy. Pakazs, very
Dire's
close to the match
tower
style
is
now
under
himself.
attack.
Needs to be able to purge off the silence here from the Storm. Still not really going to mean enough to be able to fight back, as Tiger now, mid lane, doesn't least get caught out, but a nice tether away still the Avalanche. It's going to get it done. BGM looking to punish on Dark Mago. Will juke out the ice blast, and in goes ATM. Oh, hook shot. Just cuts them off, take him out. Pandem is gone. Matthew, he's not safe either. On the Sapphire, he'll try to run, but there's no running. OG will fight 3 for 1, only losing the IO.
It's looking really rough for TA. They just can't get the group up they want. They can't find the counterfight they want. That's Orchid out from BZM, as you mentioned, just doing so much. And they have no reliable setup for the Ice Blast. You can toss it out. Only X is there. Avalanche toss is important. The hook shot from Chu to find that angle, just massive. And TA,
Dire's top tower is
it's
under
back to one of those games where it's like Pakazs has to hyper carry on this Morphling. He does have the Manta, that's one item up, severely behind the net where he needs so much time to really get going here.
Certainly does. Under Awaken is still just grouping up around that mid-tier 2 tower. Sacred, he's going to run right into Chu. This is not what they want right now. Sacred being caught out. Look at the damage from Yuragi. Sacred almost down. Ice blast down. Is it going to matter? Not quite. Under Awaken, they need to run. Get out of there. It's not safe. This is OG's home now. Pakazs keep trying to get himself down. Should he just find it now? Dark Mago with the turnaround. BZM. Oh, he's not going to drop the Aegis. He'll move right back in. He does not get a grab shot. And that's the shot of safety. He's tried the Aegis. But what does it matter?
Oh my goodness. TA again, they just plump up. They get run down by OG by their mobility. All the regen they have, all the damage they have on hand. And Thunder Awaken, their game plan is shrinking here, Mike. The map is growing smaller and smaller. The objectives are soon to fall down once they feel comfy enough for Yuragi to get that push going. He's got the DD. These towers aren't going to hold for long. These heroes won't hold for long if TA forces a fight again.
Gaben Blessing coming in for OG once again, but double damage on Yuragi. Let's see if he can one-shot someone here. Mid lane, Matthew, Sacred, going to be around. They won't want to dive T2 towers quite yet, but top side, they might start another fight as Dark Mago does TP in. OG, they know he's alone right now. Dark Mago at least gets the blink away. He's going to be fine as Thunder Awaken. They'll rotate. Set up a team fight. Yuragi, he'll take down Matthew on the backside already, so no kisses available on Yuragi. He wants a bit more. He's looking to move back in. Pakazs, ooh, hook shot. It's off the mark. Thunder. Try and turn. It's not a successful fight. It doesn't seem as Sacred now being jumped off by ATM into the top. There goes Dark Mago in trouble. A nice release. Is it going to matter? It doesn't seem like it's Sacred. He's trying to fight back, but might just drop here to ATM. trades. They do find Chew on the clockwork, but it is not a good trade whatsoever. Uragi now going for more into the meld. Don't pass it back. Right into the arms of Pakazs. Maybe they can find the TA, and they will. That's a nice pickup for TA. As ATF, he will back his way out. The Thunder Awaken, they do show signs of life.
Find a very important kill. They punish OG for almost overcommitting, missing a couple of their spells. They need a hook shot in. There's a little bit of hesitation from Urag to jump forward as well. Doesn't have anything defensive built up yet. And TA does end up going ahead. It's not enough to turn the tides of the game, of course, but it does give them more to play with, as they hug that tree line really, really well. They just had a great position behind their tier 2 towers, and they managed to stay fairly protected there. No traps to really scout them out beforehand.
Absolutely. The crowd we have here for this game number 2 as well. OG versus Thunder Awaken, just a great series already. OG still looking fantastic on 12k ahead, even with that loss of the top lane. They just don't seem frazzled. They might just keep it going. EZM just find himself another power room, but it's just going to be an illusion. Too big of a deal, so Tiger, go ahead and move in. Go ahead and pick it up for himself on the IO. While Thunder Awaken, just keeping that farm going, just protecting Pakazs, trusting the Morphling eventually will just outscale OG. OG seemingly no rush to move their way back in for a team fight for now. Happy to sit back and relax. The Die jungle though. Bodies are around. OG going to show up once again. Thunder Awaken around the corner. See what's happening here from Uragi, making sure no information can go the way of Thunder Awaken. Toward that top tier 2 tower they go. OG, they're ready for another. Or are they?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Played safe. Respect the fact that TA managed to take that fight up there and just kind of work the map. You have much more of the map under your control here for OG. They could opt to just wait for the next Roshan that is giving, again, recovery time here for Pakazs and everyone else trying to catch up. And Thunder Awaken will actually take this opportunity to smoke up. Their team fight's all ready, all the ults are up. They just need to find the angle and some good heroes to hold on.
4-man smoke into Pakazs. Just sit back in that triangle for now. Yeah, in the mid lane, he'd be a great target to start with here for Thunder Awaken. Smoke on smoke situation now. OG ready to fight back. Mid lane they go. Thunder Awaken, they will retreat. G very cautiously moving up that mid lane. Get to the Die jungle. Seem like they will. Zip in for BZM, getting some early vision. Pakazs on the low ground may get spotted. OG still wrapping around the long way. Rocket's making to give the vision. Hook shot is there. Both the board being caught out, and then it's going to get melted. Both are flying, they'll try to fight back here. ATF dropping low Tiger. He will eventually drop down to the IO, but it seems like TA need to back their way out. It's one of the 2-4 trades so far, but Safer. Is he manning up too much? He definitely is the conquer. He's going to drop us now. Matthew, he will go down as well. Pakazs on the Morphling. He's a big target, but he's going right down. The wait form out, not dead yet. Start Mango, nice overlap. We'll try to turn this one around. Uragi now, he's in trouble. He'll go down. Thunder Awaken, fighting back, showing signs of life as ATF. He'll be all right. Is that a successful team fight for Thunder Awaken, John? They did commit a couple buybacks there.
They commit a lot of buybacks, but they do make it work and kind of hold on to the game. 2K gold swing their way, 3 buybacks brought out for 3 kills and a dieback on Taiga. And I think that works itself out. TA, again, showing us that they have played. The big difference there was that Matthew managed to get up to the high ground, get the kisses off. If he didn't manage to get that done, if he didn't manage to reposition himself, there would have been a real big lack of damage, and just that foresight from him to get up there, help the team out was big.
Pakazs barely surviving. You'd think Pakazs surely drops here on that Morphling, but he got the strength morph off in time, and they just didn't have the damage. In fact, the Meld Strike, I believe, was juked out with the Manta. Had that landed, it may have been a different story in that team fight, but quick Manta here from Pakazs, saving his life.
Fingers coming out there, and Thunder Awaken now looking like they've got a lot to play with. Farm on Pakazs has managed to catch up, second only to Amar. BKB coming out on the Morphling, and that should allow Pakazs to definitely hold the front line for his team, help out the cause, get some damage off, get buffed up by the Bode, be a lot harder to burst down. You do have pretty good itemizations coming out from Sacred here to help out with that. Rate Pack has been up for a while on the Kunkka. So the damage output coming out from OG isn't as bursty as it once was. And as the game goes on, Ice Blast just feels like a stronger and stronger spell. It's always relevant. It doesn't care for spell immunity. If you catch the IO +1 with that combination of OG, just doesn't get as durable.
Thunder Awaken still 12k behind. The network has not changed too much. OG, another 4-man smoke up. Back to the die jungle they go.
Dire's
Time
bottom
Thunder
tower
Awaken.
is
They'll show
under
themselves
attack.
in the mid lane. They might have the low ground disadvantage. Pakazs, he's going to move his way up right into OG. They'll see the Morphling, but they will not make the jump. Chu just trying to get some vision down. The rush is there. Dark Maggo, no hesitation. In with the avalanche toss. Will find one. Meanwhile, BCM, however, he's got the AE locked down. And he's secure. He can. He has got the Pakazs. He gets BCM down. Oh, they've got the storm. It's a great start for Thunder Awaken. As now they've got Tiger on the IO. That'll be another.
Oh, jeez. Pakazs is just holding his ground, very confident with that BKB. They're still looking for a little bit more. They saw Uragi.
Oh, Uragi, he's the big one. Uragi, he'll blink up towards the north. Can they find him mid-TP? Oh, Dark Maggo. So close yet so far.
Dire's middle tower is under
They're
attack.
getting confident on TA though. They know that with these items up and constant investments coming through, it takes net worth lead now. And it's almost a similar situation to last game where you're sacrificing Dark Maggo and Sacred, but in this case, Morphling is a very strong hyper carry, so you can kind of just leave it all to Pakazs, get the spell immunity off. Suddenly the storm's not going to be an issue. You just need to find a way to maybe stop a Morphling zapping away.
We go again. OG, Dark Maggo, he'll break the smoke. No detection to spot this tiny out though. They will at least land the plasma field. Sentry wall down, Dark Maggo still flying. BZM, hook shot, not the land. Still a nice cock down. Matthew, he's the one caught, but not down yet. In fact, he'll sacrifice his life. Thunder Awaken, they do not want to force the fight like this. They'll let the Snapfire die. Problem is, John, Roshan is available for OG.
Got a good angle for the Roche. There is the Ice Blast ready on TA, and they've got the boat ready as well if they really do want to force that issue. But with this second Aegis coming out for OG, that should open up the possibilities onto the tier 2s. TA has managed to handle Aegises before, so maybe they managed to find some punishment and slow down the pacing here from OG, but no contestation at all. The damage is just way too high.
Cars around here, John Sacred, he is scouting out. Chance still dropping very, very low. Maggo will make the jump in. They do find the clockwork. That might be one down Chu. Still alive, Dark Maggo. He's forced to pop the BKB and run. Uragi right behind. Dark Maggo can now fight with the hot shot. Chu, he finds him. Where's the follow-up damage? He's not going to be there. Meanwhile, Pakazs, 1v4. He'll wait form out. The clockwork still going. Still alive. Surely goes down. Pakazs in the meantime, dropping low. Can he make it out? He can. Sacred, however, he cannot. 1-for-1, Roshan still available and a double damage rune being spawned up. Well, of course there is, John. Why the hell not?
Radiant's bottom
You ask for it and you get it. Uragi straight into the pit. The Roche definitely gonna melt. We're gonna see probably a tier 2 into the tier 3 Thunder Awakening. Respawns aren't too long, so you should be able to have Sacred back up, maybe have the boat up ready to go as well to stall out this fight. But TA has a lot to play against. All the tools are here for OG.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Side. They found the IO, they found Uragi! Oh, relocate! Not done, can they find the second dive? Matthew's moving in, Uragi's being caught out! Oh my god! BZM, he'll dip out, no mana left. He's got the BKB though, he should be fine. Oh, OG! John, what have they done?
They relocated right on top of the area where all of TA was at. Like, they just kept smashed by the side of TA, and that's the Aegis gone. I thought they'd take high ground, maybe they'd take a tier 2 into a tier 3, force some objectives down. They go back into this jungle, and they just melt. They need to start these fights with BZM. They can't just jump in like that with TA.
Pakazs, he's almost at that Eye of Skadi now as well, John. Big power spike coming for the Morphling. Things getting very spicy in this game, number 2. Only an 8k advantage now for OG. Slowly but surely just been dropping back the way of Thunder Awaken. Pakazs, top of the net worth, as per usual, on that Morphling, and looking very, very scary this time around in game number 2 as Thunder Awaken maybe thinking about a smoke. Do group up as 5. If they want to try, they will. Where do they head though, John?
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Their map is fairly dark. They don't have the most forward boards here. on Thunder Awaken. Gonna try to flank up top. They get the scan off. It's only Taiga they really spot out for that, though.
They've got
Not
that
the target they
for this
want.
fight, John. Go for the surprise reveal. Oh, Amar, he might run right into the ATF. Be very careful, Sir Dark Mago. Not going to be able to find the jump in. ATF, we're showing on the creep wave, but Thunder Awaken don't want to jump that deep. Now OG Smoker. In the mid lane they go. They'll see the Tiny. It's a great target to make the jump on. They know he's got his whole team behind him. ATF, he'll wrap around the long way. Through the Dire side, Matthew may get spotted. That's a great start if they find the snap fire. ATF going forward. Hook shot is there. That's a great hook shot. Into the cross of the staircase. Pakazs will lead by Chu. They do also find Tiger and Sacred down. Dark Mago onto ATF. They've got the Razor. Do they have the damage though? They do have the Morphling still going, but ATF is banding up, still going for the team fight. Meanwhile, BZM still trying to find that start. The Dark Mago still going. Pakazs. Can he do this? Not quite. Dark Mago, however, he does end up fighting Yuragi. A very back-and-forth team fight. Who actually won this one, John?
Still looks like a win for Thunder Awakening. They take out Yuragi to force the buyback out on Chu. Bit of an interesting choice there at the end to try to go for that last hit on the Morphling from Pakazs onto Yuragi, kind of costing him that. He had enough space to back himself out. Probably not necessary to die, but TA again stay in the game. They drag that lead down only to 4K. The gold's been dwindling away from that lead on OG, and Thunder Awakening has been finding ways to make it work. Just great tosses back, lots of damage and durability coming out from Morphling. If Pakazs finishes up something like, say, a Satanic, I think he can go for those riskier plays without too much trouble.
OG, 5K ahead now, and slowly but surely dropping. Team fight's feeling very forced now. At some point, do you think it's just about knowing that they're not going to scale too well into the Morph Jump? They just don't have the confidence going to that ultra late game stage for OG.
No, I don't think it's that big of an issue. If you do manage to chain stun and find Pakazs first, once these BKBs dwindle away, which they are, it's down to 6 seconds, you can actually play here. And I like the itemization coming out. BZM's going for the Ags on the Storm. AoE Vortex is one very big way to do that. The issue with OG in the past few fights is it does feel a little bit disconnected. You get these great hook shots out from Chu, but the fight breaks off elsewhere where BZM is jumping in with Yuragi. And that kind of split focus just gives TA more angles to take there.
Gameplay you talked about, Pakazs kind of going back in for Yuragi, but eventually Dark Mago at least gets the job done. Maybe not expecting the silence to come out. There you go, he's not happy about that one.
Yeah, it looked like he had the opportunity to walk out. The silence not allowing for attribute shift was pretty painful, but still a rather back and forth game. The 5K lead for OG still stands at 32 minutes in. It doesn't really count for too much. Farm distribution from OG is a lot more even across their course in comparison to TA. But that also means that Yuragi, say, at this state of the game isn't quite as hyper-farmed, right? Like, you don't have as much physical burst just yet. He is saving up for his Daedalus into his own Scotty, but there's more time necessary for the TA to hit that mark, and at this point, the Morphling is just massive. Like, if you don't catch Pakazs out, he will take way too long to kill off, even with a Razor zapping away his damage.
Yeah, he's in that dire jungle. They're Awaken, they're making their way over. They've got the illusion to scout out the Storm, but he's going to be able to back off. Just immediate zips away.
Dire's top tower is under
attack. Either side yet. But now both of them just sitting back, maybe waiting for that Roshan time to get a little bit lower. Plenty of time for that next Roshan to spawn up.
Your atrocity mage.
Shying in the mid lane, but OG just not confident to try and make a jump in on the Tiny, and Awaken just always remaining grouped up apart from Dark Mago. OG will do the same. Not confident being solo right now. It's a very, very scary point in this game. Axe being built up on BZM, that could be a massive game changer for OG. So much control available on BZM, though he does have a while to go. Daedalus also built up in Yuragi now, so damage, not so much an issue.
It's a little bit more to kind of try to burst down, especially the sports. I think if you can somehow jump the Snapfire and the AA once more, you take away that Ice Blast and Kisses, the fights do simplify. You don't have to worry about not having regen on hand. And if you can maybe find Sacred on top as a cherry on top, it becomes really easy for OG to use their damage here. Smoke out from OG and try to find that angle again. You would want the supports dead, and then you can kind of clean up afterwards.
5-man smoke. top lane they go. OG get through that Dive jungle. Awaken, hang around the mid-river for now. Also enter back in that Dive jungle, though for now they do have a low ground. This is bad here. This could be very bad for Thunder Awaken if they get caught with their pants down here. Youth will hang around the Roshan pit. G very patiently waiting on that high ground. TF on the front lines for his team. Thunder Awaken, they will not make their way over quite yet. Grid close to ATF, you can almost smell him right now. Sacred. Shot in there too. What an initiation. A great one in fact. ATF right in. Do they have it? Yeah, they do. They've got the Conker. Sacred's down. Uragi, he's on a Dark Mago. They want that Tiny. He's not dead yet, however, Pakazs will make the jump back in onto ATF, looking for a grave. High five up, but it's not going the way of ATF. The Morphling still has the waveform out of Dark Mago. Back in with the Avalanche, with the top. 1-for-1 onto the IO. Tiger's gone as well. Uragi, he'll be able to blink up, but now TP away will be just fine. A successful team fight for Thunder Awaken.
They make it work. Even though they play under the ward, the hook shot just onto one, not quite clumping them up here for two this time around, does make a massive difference. The buyback was forced out of Thunder Awaken, so it's not the clearest win out. Sacred not going to have that for a long time. They've got the opportunity to go for objectives going on to that tier 2 mid. First tier 2 of the game here, Mike. After such a slow start for TA, they find this objective
tower
first.
is under attack.
Pause out. Talk to me about the state of the game, John. Still a 6k net worth lead for OG, but it does feel like Thunder Awaken have all the momentum behind them.
Again, things can...
OG. Bit of a warning shot here from BZM. Obviously without his team, can't really commit to the big kind of team fight. So Thunder, they'll take over this Radiant Triangle. Comes their home now.
Just get some farm up, Roche. A few seconds away here, Mike. Big objective to take. Look at how protected it is for Thunder. 2 wards watching that pit. They've got to be able to tell when OG does come in if they want to.
Sean will respawn Matthew. Should spot it out there. Rocket Flare will give OG the information as well. Just a big objective to go for now. G right now, considering the position they're in, they can't really afford to let this one go down for free. There is a refresher shard also available on this one as Uragi his way over. Awaken still remaining in position for this Roshan fight. They'll go for the 5-man smoke. The triangle, they're looking for that Radiant jungles, the Rocket Flare again, giving the information away that Thunder Awaken are not in the pit right now, and OG, they immediately retreat knowing that there's probably a smoke going, but there's a counter smoke, a 5v5 engagement. Here we go, Uragi, he does put out Dark Mago, he's his way out, all shots there too, he's right in, they've got the hook up, in fact no, they don't, the 4th up, we'll save the day for now too, the only one for now, the Iron Blast is there, Amal, he'll get jumped on by the Morphling, disarm there, however, they can't find the correct, never mind, they can, they'll find free for their trouble, Uragi still trying to run, Dark Mago, he'll let him go, they just want the Roshan.
Oh my god, that was on the edge there for Pakazs once more, but he does manage to hold his own. They played very well on TH, just avoid a smoke drop on Vision. They were under a trap and OG were not able to capitalize, so they get the opportunity. But Sacred is so tanky that it's just so hard to find, and TA are the one to take the Roche, and now they have this opportunity to maybe look for that pressure onto the high ground, shut down the map, and make this to be an incredibly difficult, if not near impossible game for OG. Thunder Awakening, I mean, they're after a really slow start here, Mike. They're finding themselves in a really good position.
Yeah, and you look at the win probability as well, John. Suddenly, the way of Thunder Awaken, 63%. That's what you love to see. It's the mark of a good game here for game number 2. OG definitely not out of this one yet. 37% chance their way. One good team fight would do it.
Look at Matthew. He's got 2 gems. Drops 1, passes it along. All right, so just keeping track, and that does mean OG's going to be lacking a little bit of that vision now. 31 to 31, an evened out game here. 2k lead only standing for OG. It really just doesn't amount to much at this point. Like that 2k lead is, it's not even a major item for the most part, and that tends to be distributed across all the heroes. So they're feeling pretty good here on Thunder. It still feels like they're always like an edge away from falling off a cliff. You know, they're right on the edge of it, but like say if something goes extremely wrong, if Pakazs actually dies twice, that could be OG rallying back up, and it doesn't take them too long to run down the lane as well.
Keep in mind, Pakazs have multiple daily shutdown jobs, so even more damage on the Morphling. Waveform charges as well, always very nice. That added escape here for
Radiant's
Pakazs.
top tower is under attack.
He's going to get spotted by Dark Mago, will zip the other way. There'll be no chase going. They want the tier 3 tower. No creep wave available, though. To make it rather hard as BZM. No creep skip. There'll be no punishment for it. The tier 3 tower still going down. Back to not being in yet. In fact, look at that damage. Forced the cliff up just to protect this the top lane of barracks.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Cards, he'll keep trying.
What backdoor?
What backdoor protection? They just bust this jump.
Oh yeah.
Barracks are under attack.
And they just nerfed Tiny's attack speed as well with Rock. So,
Yes,
you know,
they did.
it's not doing much. They clear out the first set of racks. TA in control of this game now, and OG playing on the back foot.
They are. Suddenly the net worth does finally swing the way of Thunder Awaken. 31k net worth on Pakazs. This Morphling is absolutely massive. Thunder Awaken will have that Aegis available. There's your Aghanim Scepter being queued up as well for Sacred. So the water park is incoming, Jonathan. Love
Dire's
ourselves a
bottom
water park
tower
here.
is under attack.
Beat the heat and beat the momentum OG's been building up in this
Dire's
series so
bottom
far.
tower is under
OG for their
attack.
part,
Step lively.
I just don't know how you further itemize now on Yuragi, right? Like he's got the Revenant's Rouge, 20 charges on his Desolator full, bonus damage all the way up. Maybe you can go for the Swift Ring. That could be one way to amp up the damage on your TA, but you're starting to run out of item slots, and when it comes to comparing it with the Morphling, there is still some play potential, but you just don't have the same stat in, you don't get the same value from stat items as the Morphling does. Like the Scotty's just doing way much more for Pakazs in comparison, and he's still going for defensively building up here on the Morph. He's going for a Lincoln's Next just to ensure he doesn't get silenced, he doesn't have to waste this Manta Cell or BKB early on in these fights. And OG, I mean, they're just on the defense. They're getting farm where they can. They are playing under TA's vision, which gives them free reign to just go for these objectives.
Gotta be the bot tier 2 10 on the top. No contest, Thunder Awaken. They might just go high ground as well. Again, the Aegis still in 4 inside the Morphling is BZM. He's out of mana. BKB upside, a rubber. Pakazs, he's got the Iron Scotty. So BZM mode. Oh boy. He's got buyback. It's alright, he's got buyback.
Yeah, he can come back in, but this is not the way you want to expend that buyback. BZM a bit, maybe a bit cheeky for that team.
They've got the momentum now. ATM trying to get the ATM. BZM, no buyback. On the clockwork. Still locked down BZM again. On the storm will zip out. Meanwhile, Chu already going down the clockwork. He's got buyback available as well. Yuragi, he's going to try and man up against Pakazs, but it's not working out. Pakazs, he will not drop. ATM, meanwhile, will get relocated out as BZM. Still getting the team fight going. They'll have to reset.
Radiant's middle tower is
Thunder
under
Awaken,
attack.
they're still healthy. They've still got the Aegis. They still want to fight.
Radiant's
Here we go again. BZM. Oh, backside. He's got the axe in the vortex. Oh, hot shot onto 3. Maybe they've got it. Dark Mago. Trying to fight. Nobody's down yet. Meanwhile, Pakazs takes out Tiger. Yuragi trying to get the jump up on Pakazs. Finds another. 2 down. Onto the high ground. There you go. Yuragi. He's in big trouble. No strike is there onto Pakazs. But it's a 5v3 situation. 2 heroes now without buybacks on the side of OG. Thunder Awaken, they do need a bit of a reset. No Aegis available now. Onto Pakazs, but that may not matter, John. He's full HP, full mana.
Yeah, they can keep going. Looking for the mega creeps here. If they find a couple more pickoffs, that's the end of the game for OG. They've got to play this cautiously.
Radiant's
Respawns
middle
aren't too
tower
far
is
away.
Here we go. Egg is up into the tier 4s. How do OG defend this one? Thunder Awaken, such a rough start for game number 2, but they make the comeback happen. They've been BZM, you'll only find one this time around. It'll be Dark Mago, but the follow-up damage is just not there. Reset once again. Meanwhile, Yuragi, X is out. They've got the TA. That's the 5th. Oh, no. Dark Mago's in. Thunder Awaken. It might be it. Zip it again, BZM, you'll keep trying. Onto the